Warning, this episode might make you hangry or give you the midnight munchies. Sorry, not sorry. 3, 2, 1. That's how many bites I have left of this perfectly buttery pineapple cake from Penang, Malaysia. Oh god. And this slice of coconut jelly that tastes exactly like the inside of a real coconut. Tastes like home, and I only have 1 bite of home left. I'm gonna cry. Hashtag foodie problems. The struggle is so real, and I only have my family to thank for that.
Every day is saute day.
Cheers!
Try it? Wow.
You're so focused right now.
This is laksa with the rojak sauce. Make the soup all red. Next thing
Welcome siya.
Oh, these are so cute! These are my favorite things in the world.
This is so good. I want more.
Summer 2018, I went to Penang, Malaysia for a huge family reunion with my mom's side of the family. Get this, she is the youngest of 9 kids, so you can say it's a pretty big homecoming. And for as long as I can remember, like my strongest connection, feeling like, oh, I am proud to be from / associated with this place called Malaysia on the other side of the world from where I otherwise spent most of my time growing up, is the food. And if it sounds like I'm beating this to death, like you have to understand, in Malaysia, food is a religion unto itself. Oh my gosh, where are we? I gotta live here. This is crazy. Even the way my dad described Malaysia, it is the melting pot of the East, a salad bowl of Malay, Chinese, and Indian cultures. Like, even the metaphors are food! Yeah, like your favorite fruit ever?
It is my favorite fruit. It's so yummy.
That's what runs in the family. So 8 years ago, at our last reunion in Malaysia, my cousins and I, we created a musical about the reunion. During the reunion that we then performed at the reunion, I dug up this like font and clip art saturated program that I made for the event. And if you see, like the closing song was called We Ate Mad Food. I'm really bad at rapping, but I'm gonna try to give you a slice. Let's go! This is the story of the Ko family who went down south to stuff their mouths. We ate bak and drank from coconuts. We had dinner on the beach while all the food went to our butts! Shout out to whoever wrote those lyrics! Oh my gosh, I actually need to share the durian one with you all. If you don't know what durian is known as the pungent king of the fruit, and I dare say there is no other fruit in this world that is more divisive or unifying than the durian. For context, this number is between 2 uncles. One is consoling the uncle who is organizer, handle all the logistics, all the flights and everything. And I couldn't find any video clips, unfortunately, of this number, so you're just gonna have to sit back and enjoy this attempt at a one-woman show. Brother, listen to me. Just listen to your heart. You do love your great big family, who you've worked and planned things for. All will be as you've ever hoped for. I know. But there is one thing. What? There is one thing you're waiting for. I'll take care of that. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of booking aeroplanes. Too long I've been tired of chasing everyone around. But it's for the reunion. It's time I'm homeward bound. It's time to try it eating durian. I think I'll try eating durian, and soon you'll be renowned. And nobody in all Penang, even with their hunger pangs, is ever gonna take our durian.
Oh my goodness, we're in trouble.
The color looks good. Huh? This yummy. This yummy.
Come on, James, let us have it.
Ayo. Now this is the king of fruits. Once you had it, there are no other fruits that compares with it. Soft, succulent, alcohol fermented in a fruit. Different combinations of esters, totally aromatic. It's like the best of 6 wines in the world put together in one, infused in this mesoderm.
Nice and more.
I see durian, I eat. That's it.
Please explain why people have such an aversion and some people have such a passion for it.
I think maybe it's the receptor. Durian is so nice. It's not the same class as a total food or the blue cheese.
I think it tastes good, but I think it's not made approachable when everyone starts by saying this is a really stinky, weird tasting fruit. I think that's why they won't try it.
What is durian?
Yucky.
Have you tried any?
Never.
Then how do you know? What if everyone's lying to you because they want to eat it all because it's so good?
Yeah.
Try some. It's so sweet. It's like candy.
Yeah.
Serene.
Kira is different. She's only 8 months. She
doesn't
doesn't know what
understand.
she's eating. You know?
But I don't know if anyone likes it as much as your dad. He's eating like 3 fruit on his own, like whole fruit.
Wow.
This species is called Angbakia, which means little baby red meat.
Got 3 more.
Which one's your favorite?
Bitter sweet with some liquor taste.
I like the berry one. Which one's that one?
I've never had a berry taste.
This is the golden one, see?
My advice to them is, you haven't eaten enough. You eat more. Then you pass your threshold, then you begin to fall in love with it.
There's something in the durian that can remove its own smell. Is it? That's amazing, huh? Because you cannot smell the durian here, you know. Yeah, this is a secret we didn't know when we were young too. So just someone discovered it. Yeah, see all the smell gone.
And so I think there's a lot of truth in the saying, the family that eats together stays together. Like there's nothing more unifying than just pulling up a seat at the table, sharing a good meal together. That is communion right there. Which is quite interesting because actually in the US, like my household, we didn't eat that much together growing up. My parents would always cook these wonderful dinners, call up like, Chrysalis, David, dinner time. We would usually just stay in our rooms and keep doing our homework or keep talking to our friends or whatever it is we were doing and not come down for dinner. My parents would quietly bring the bowls up, set it right down for us. And that was how we did our dinners, you know, like with our computers, with our homework. And now that I actually have to cook for myself and know like what a labor of love it is to actually make a meal, I really regret, I guess, not appreciating that more. So thank you, Mom and Dad. Because when it comes to expressing love, it's true of my family that we lean less towards verbal and physical expressions like, oh, I love you, and hugs and kisses and all of that. It's much more about acts of service and action. And if someone were to ask me, like, you know, how do you know your parents love you? I would have to say without a doubt that food is, you know, the love language that for my family, like, speaks the loudest. And so whoever meets me usually finds themselves dragged to the nearest Malaysian or Singaporean restaurant in town. Shout out to all my friends who've let me feed you so much and put up with my occasional food snobbery. You know, when you really love something, you just really want to share it with people, and you go to a restaurant and they just don't do it right. It's like, no, like, that's not how it actually tastes. Like, this is not representative. Eating a plate of char kway teow in a classy restaurant, like it's just not the same as getting off a plane that was over like 24 hours long, booking it to your parents' favorite hawker stall, having the decision of trying to figure out what on earth I should eat, existential questions, just standing there at this hot charcoal field wok, just sizzling and watching your food come together, and finally having the plate arrive in front of you, brightly colored chopsticks, digging in. Oh, and then you do it like 4 times at least every single day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper, like it's just not the same. But you try your best. And actually it is cool to see how food will adapt, because in a diaspora, authentic original cuisine, that can vary depending on where you are in the world and what kind of access you have, right, to certain ingredients. Like every time we visit friends and family now, the first question is like, is Jun soon gonna make his lobster Hokkien mee? And my dad's just like, well, do you have a lobster sale in town? Because it's like a 2-day affair. Day number 1, you just eat it, you know, American style, potatoes and corn on the cob. And then you save all those shells and you use that to make the broth overnight, which is usually like a prawn base, but my dad uses lobster shells instead. And it's just like amazing and seriously brings all the peeps to the yard. And so I can go on and on and on and on, but it really wasn't until this family reunion that I started to wonder, like, where did this love come from? Like, how did my family's insatiable appetite and just delight for food come to be and pass on to me? And finally, this reunion, like, I got to hear some stories from Grandma's kitchen. My mom was telling me how, like, kueh pai ti, those little, like, edible food cups.
That's a mold that you make the shell, dip it in the batter, and you put it over all, and you make them one by one.
I'm like, wait, I want to make that. Like, teach me, please. And actually, while I was in Malaysia, like, I got to reconnect with a high school friend, and her story is spot on. Like, Jane's dream is to feed people well. She's learned to speak in food as a love language that she's inherited from her own parents. On that note, I'm gonna wrap this episode with a mini walkthrough tour of the car dealership that now stands in place of the house where my dad grew up. It gives some pretty cool insight into how our taste buds came to be. And so, yeah, if you enjoyed any of this, like, please like, follow, subscribe, talk to me. And without further ado, take it away, Dad.
So it's mid-afternoon, stores are just about starting up. In the evening, this whole place becomes an incredible mecca for food. It's a heaven for food.
Yum!
Bang chang kuih. Peanut pancake.
My favorite.
So now, if you pan across the street, see that 29 Wi-Fi cafe will walk across the street. That was my house. So it's now an auto store. We can walk right in and I'll show you. It's all open space now. However, back then this was the lower floor, and when we would climb down the stairs, used to be where my mother had a very big table where it was solid wood, and that's where she did her sewing. Alright, she was a seamstress. So she would go out and get jobs and come back in here. At night or in the day, that's where she would do her measurement, cutting, sewing and all that. And then going further back, there was a area was like a library room on the right, and then the kitchen in the back. And since there's no such thing as hot water here, so I remember I wake up in the morning, 6:30 or 6 o'clock, go downstairs, brush my teeth, cold water, put water on my face, and I would be awake right away. There was no such thing as being late because the water would just wake me up. That area was where we read the chickens and the ducks. And then in the back was the fruit orchard and the garden. Banana trees, a couple of jambu trees, and here was the huge old mangosteen tree right in front of the window looking to the back. I love that mangosteen tree because it would have such great, juicy, sweetest mangosteen ever. And next to the mangosteen tree, started a row of 1, 2, 3, about 6 or 7 rambutan trees. Great, juicy, and the rambutan will be the lili jeng, where when you eat it, the husk doesn't come off with the fruit. It stays on the seed itself. And in the back, which is gone now, was a huge durian tree. I had my own durian tree. Unbelievable. So you wonder why I grew up loving fruits, right? Yeah. So this whole area where it's now all concrete used to be a wonderful fruit orchard. So this is sad in a way when I look at it. You know, I miss all the fruits and all that, and they're all gone now. It's not a house anymore. We never had that carving of the lion. for example, and the stones it was never like that. It's so totally different. They maintain the outer structure and that's about it. Yeah, so different. Things have changed.